Hello everyone. So in the previous session we have studied the concept of coefficient of variation. So in this session let me explain the concept of skewness. So it is one of the important concept. Definitely you will get one 5-mark question from this concept. So coming to the skewness is none other than it is the absolute value when we take a difference between mean and mode and divided by standard variation. So when I said the statement, what I said, it is the difference between mean and mode. So mean is represented by x bar and mode is represented by z. So it is the difference between mean and mode. Difference is none other than subtraction sign divided by a standard deviation. Fine. So it is the difference between mean and mode divided by standard deviation is none other than a skewness, and it is the idea was given by Carl Parsons. Fine. So skewness is named after Carl Parsons. So it is also called as Carl Parsons coefficient of skewness. I'll just write here Carl Parsons coefficient of skewness. Fine. So it is denoted by SKP. S stands for skewness, Kp is none other than Carl Parsons. So it is a coefficient of skewness, that is Carl Parsons coefficient of skewness. Now coming to the concept of skewness, suppose if I am going to take say height of particular students between like 2 to 10. 2 to 6. Let me take a height of a students from 2 to 6. Fine. So when you're going to take 2 to 6, the middle value will be like you are going to get 3 here, 4 here, 5 here. So middle value will be 4. So this will be the central tendency. We say middle value is the central tendency. So most accurate method of finding central value is median. Fine. So remember, median is the most accurate method of finding the central tendency. So the middle value represents a median. So while finding the median also we used to take the middle value, right? So we are going to locate the same. Suppose if I am going to take a height of a student, suppose if I have something like this. That is, from the distribution we can see that the number of this represents the peak value, that is highest value. So here it represents the number of students. X-axis represents a number of students. Fine. So you can clearly note that the number of students whose height is less than 4 is represented by this region, and the number of students whose height is more than 4 is represented by this region, and maximum number of students will be of height 4 inches. 4 inches. Suppose let me take for example. Fine. So meaning is that the number of students whose height is less than 4 is same as number of students whose height is more than 4. In the sense this region is equal. So such kind of distribution is called as normal distribution. Normal distribution. So in this case, remember mean will be equal to median and that will be equal to mode. So from the diagram itself it is clear. Fine. Now suppose let me take income of a particular region. Fine. So let me take it from 10 to 100 rupees. Or let me take in terms of thousands. It represents 10,000 and 100,000. That is 1 lakh. Fine. So middle value will be like 50,000. Fine. So that is the central tendency. That is the central value. Suppose if this is the case I have, this is the central tendency. Suppose if I have a tendency like, I'll just represent something like a or else let me write here. Suppose if this is the 50 and this is 10 I have and this is 100 I have. Fine. Suppose if I have a distribution something like this. So this picture is it is quite clear. You just look at this picture. Now this represents a person who takes an income of 10,000. This represents 100,000. That is 1 lakh rupee. This represents a person who earns 50,000 per month. Let me take that as an example. So in this case we can see that here the central tendency is 50. So number of persons who earn 10,000 is more when compared to the number of persons who earn more than 50,000. Right. So see here in the region itself clearly mentioned, this region represents the person whose earning is greater than 50,000. They are very less compared to the persons who earn less than 50,000 per annum, right? You can clearly see. So with reference to central tendency, suppose if central tendency represent x-axis, it is positive values of x, whereas in this case you have negative value of x. So we can say here the curve is more tending towards x-axis, that is positive x-axis we can say. So such kind of skewness is called as positively skewed. Positively skewed. Fine. And moreover, always remember central tendency is accurate with reference to median, as I already said. And the right to the median you always have mean, and left to the median you always have mode. Fine. So this is a geometrical representation of skewness. This will make your concept quite clear. So in the first case, hope so it is clear. Since the central value is 4, in this case mode is equal to mean. Whereas in the second case, it represents the earning of a person who is earning. This region represent the person who earn less than 50,000 per month or per annum. This represent a number of person who earn more than 50,000 per annum. So this region is very high compared to this region, right? So in the sense, if the central tendency represent x-axis, here you can clearly say in the first case it is positive x-axis. If you are going to consider this as an x, suppose this is an x-axis and this is an y-axis. So with reference to central tendency, both the values are symmetrically skewed. So that is why we call this as normal distribution or symmetric distribution also. Fine. In the second case, you can note that here, suppose if you are going to consider this as an y-axis, this will be a positive x-axis and this will be negative x-axis. Here, the curve is skewed with reference to positive x-axis. And to the right side of the central tendency, as I said, you will get mode. To the left side, you will get to the right side you will get mean, to the left side you will get mode. So in this case, you can clearly note that. So which is the highest value here? When we have positive, so as I already told you, this is positively skewed. So you can clearly see that this region represent mean. Fine. This region represent mode. So you can clearly note that in this case, mean is greater than mode, right? Mean is greater than mode. Remember, for a positively skewed data, mean is always greater than mode. Now let me consider one more case. Let me consider it as a marks scored by a particular student. Suppose let me take it from mark 10 to mark 100. So 50 will be the peak value. That is what we say central tendency, central value, right? So if I'm going to write something like this. Now as I already said, this is a central value. Fine. So to the right side, what you're going to get, it is mean. Right? So to the left side, what you're going to get, it is mode. So this will be the central value. It represents median. Fine. Now you can clearly see that, suppose if this is the y-axis, that is the central value is y-axis, this will be the positive x-axis, this will be the negative x-axis. Fine. So to the negative x-axis, the curve is more skewed. Right? So we say this as negatively skewed. This is negatively skewed. So in this case, you can clearly see that mean is less than mode. Right? Mean is less than mode, or else I can say mode is greater than mean. Fine. So this you should remember. That is, when a curve is negatively skewed, in such case mode is greater than mean. When a curve is positively skewed, in such case mean is greater than mode. So you have to make a note that. So here is notes. So I'll forward the same in the group. You just copy. Coefficient of variation is represented by SKP and it is invented by Carl Person. So it is named after him. Now you can see that here mean is equal to median. As I said, median is the central tendency value. It represents the accurate value of a central tendency, measure of central tendency. So in such case, mean, this region represent, central tendency, left region represent mean, whereas right region represent mode. So in this case, both are equal. So we say such distribution as normal distribution. Whereas in positive skewness, you can note that a central tendency, with respect to central tendency, a curve is skewed with respect to positive x-axis. So we say it is positively skewed. Moreover, mean is greater than mode. So you can clearly see from the figure. So this represent mean, this represent mode with reference to central tendency. So in this case, mean is greater than mode whenever we have positively skewed data. Similarly, in case of negatively skewed data, this is the central tendency, and you can clearly note that this region represent mode, and whereas this region represent mean. So in this case, mode is greater than mean. So that is what I have written. You have to remember this. That is, in negatively skewed data, mode is greater than mean. So you have to remember this key point. Now coming to the formula, just I have told you that to find the skewness, you are going to use this formula where x bar is the mean and z is the mode and sigma is the standard deviation, right? Suppose in a group data, how the mean is chosen, whether the data is repeated, which data is repeated more number of times, that will be the mode. Suppose in ungrouped data, in a grouped data, f values are given, right? So how you're going to choose a mode? Like x, f values, x is like 3, 2, f is like 1, 2, or as 10, 20. Let me take 5 as 20. So which is the highest frequency here? Suppose if you have 30 here, highest frequency is 30. So 5 will be the mode. That is how you are going to extract a mode for discrete series, right? Suppose if highest frequency is repeated twice. Here 20 is the highest frequency which is repeating 2 times. So in such case, mode is not clearly defined, right? Then in such case, we are getting confusion that whether we have to choose mode 2 or 5. So it is ambiguous, in the sense it is not clearly defined. So if mode is not clearly defined, we cannot use this formula. So if mode is not clearly defined, we can use the formula SKP is equal to 3 into x bar minus median divided by sigma. So this formula can be used whenever the mode is not clearly defined. So this is a very efficient formula where mode is clearly defined. Fine. So hope so you understand the concept of skewness. Now here I have a list of formula where I have explained each and every term clearly. SKP, as I already told you, this is the formula we use when mode is clearly defined, and this is the formula we use when it is not clearly defined. As the terms indicate, x bar is mean and z is mode and sigma is a standard deviation. But we are going to use the formula for these three terms as per the given data. Types of a given data. So that is why I have listed the formulas for those here. Anyhow, these two formulas will not be changing. So we are going to use the first formula in almost all the case. Only this will be used only when mode is not clearly defined. Fine. With respect to first formula, I am going to explain. Of course, it is applicable for second formula as well. So we can calculate the mean value for ungrouped data. Ungrouped in the sense only when x values are given. Fine. So we can calculate mean by using x bar is equal to sigma x by n. As usual, z will be the value which we repeat more number of time. Right. Now standard deviation we can calculate by using the formula. Anyhow, we have already calculated mean. So we can calculate d by using the formula x minus x bar. This is for ungrouped data. Whenever grouped data is given, we can calculate the mean by using either this method, that is direct method, or we can use assumed mean method, right? So we are going to apply assumed mean. You can use any of the formula as per your convenience. Fine. And as usual, z is the mode, so we can calculate by using the corresponding value of a x value. That is highest frequency. As I said, highest frequency we have to identify. Corresponding x value will be the mode for discrete series. Discrete in the sense x values are given directly along with the frequency. Fine. Along with frequency. Fine. Standard deviation, this is for discrete series. You have to use this method. It is very efficient. Next, for continuous series where class intervals are given instead of x values, anyhow we are going to calculate x values further, so it doesn't matter. Anyhow, mean will be calculated either by using this formula or this formula. You can use any of the formula as per the convenient. Mode will be we have already solved this method while doing the problems on mode. That is for continuous series. I have done this and I have clearly explained the terms, that is how we are going to choose f1, f0 and f2. See, please go through that video, then only you will understand the concept of mode. So you have to use the same formula, and for standard deviation for continuous series we are using this formula. Anyhow, calculation of mean, mode and standard deviation we have done it in earlier classes. So we are going to calculate the skewness, that is coefficient of Carl Parsons coefficient of skewness, that is SKP, in this session. Anyhow, you have to remember this formula list, and we have already know all these formulas. Only thing is you have to remember these two formulas. Hope so it is clear. So concept of skewness is clear for you. Now let me solve problems based on it. So here is a problem. It is clearly ungrouped data, right? Why? Because only x values are given. So as I already said you, whenever you have ungrouped data, so we can find the coefficient of skewness, that is Carl-Parsons coefficient of skewness. First we have to arrange the given data X in ascending order, that is right from the least value 2, next least value is 3, next 4, 5. Now you can clearly note that 11 is repeated 2 times, so you have to write 11 2 times. Next 13. Fine. Now X values are listed. So as I said earlier, we have to use this formula, that is SKP is equal to X bar minus Z divided by sigma, where Z is a mode and whereas X bar is mean and sigma is standard deviation. Whenever you have ungrouped data, you have to use these formulas. So first let me decide the mode. Mode is none other than the value which repeats more number of time for ungrouped data. I am showing this for your reference, so you can refer this table so that entire information will be collected at once. Now this is what we have. Now look at the mode. Before that, first let me write the formula for coefficient of skewness, that is SKP is equal to X bar minus Z divided by sigma. So as usual, introduction part I will send you in the group. You just copy the notes, afterwards put the heading for ungrouped data. You just write on the problem and continue the same. Now we have to calculate mean. So first mean you can calculate. You just look at the formula list that I have sent in the group and you can write this X bar as sigma X by n. So sigma X in the sense you have to add all these values. So if you add all these values, you just add using calculator, you will get 49. And n is, so it is ungrouped data where only X values are given. So you have to calculate the n by counting the number of data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So n value is 7. Now let me substitute. So you will get 49 divided by 7 is 7. So mean value is 7. Clear? Now we have to calculate Z. Z is the mode value. Mode in the sense the value which repeats more number of times. You can note that 2 is not repeating, 3 is not repeating, 4 is not repeating, 5 is not repeating, but 11 is repeating twice. So this number is repeating, so mode is 11. So let me write one statement. Since 11 is repeating more number of times, compared to other values. Therefore, mode values, that is Z is equal to 11. Fine. Now what else we have to calculate is standard deviation, that is sigma. So as I already given the formula list, you just go through the formula list. Sigma is equal to square root of summation of d square divided by n. Fine. Where d can be calculated by using the formula x minus x bar. As I already calculated x bar, you can calculate d easily. D is equal to x minus x bar. Fine. Now let me calculate x minus x bar. X bar is 7. I have already done this. Now 2 minus 7 minus 5. Similarly 3 minus 7 minus 4. 4 minus 7 minus 3. 5 minus 7 minus 2. 11 minus 7, 4. Again 11 minus 7, 4. 13 minus 7, 6. So I have calculated the d values. Next what else is required? D square is needed. So let me square it. So you will get d square. 5 square is 25. 4 square is 16. 3 square 9. 2 square 4. 4 square 16, again 4 square is 16, 6 square is 36. So I have calculated d square value. Now we require sum of d square, that is you just add the column d square. So total sum will give you 122. So this is the value of d square. Fine. Now let me calculate standard deviation. It is given by sigma is equal to square root of summation of d square value is 122. I'll just substitute the values, divided by n value is 7. Right. So after simplification, use the calculator. So let me use 122 divided by 7. Square root of that value will give you 4.1747. So standard deviation also calculated and mean value is also obtained. Now let me calculate coefficient of skewness, that is SKP value will be equal to what is the formula? X bar minus Z divided by sigma. X bar is 7 minus Z is mode value, it is 11 divided by sigma is 4.1747. Now before simplifying, I'll just let you know that as I already told you, whenever mean is greater than mode, that is mean value is highest than mode value, then skewness will be positive. When mode value is highest, then skewness is negative. Now here you can see that mean is 7, right? Mode is 11. So which is highest? Mode is highest. So if mode is highest, you will get negative skewness. You just remember, when mode is highest, you will get negative skewness. When mean is highest, you will get positive skewness. Fine. So you can guess that answer will be in terms of negative. So when you simplify, you will get 0.9581. Fine. So this is the required coefficient of skewness. I'm sorry, minus 0.9581. So this is the required coefficient of skewness. And one more thing is that you just write a note point there. Note. So whatever the coefficient of variation you calculate, SKP is always lies between -1 and +1. In the sense, whatever the answer you obtained, either it will be -1 or it will be +1 or in between. So it cannot exceed +1 and it cannot go behind -1. So it is always in between -1 and +1. So this is the required coefficient of variation. I'm sorry, coefficient of skewness, or Karl-Pearson coefficient of skewness, one and the same. So for ungrouped data, we have to use these formulas. Hope so it is clear. Now let me solve a few more problems. So here is the second problem. We have to find the skewness for the given data. So as I said, it is an ungrouped data because x values are given. So we have to arrange the given data from the least number. Least value is 600. Next least value is 620. Next is 625. Next is 650. Since 650 is repeated twice, here is one time and here is one time. So you have to write twice. 650, 675. Next 700. Again 700 is also repeating twice. I'm sorry, thrice. Here is also there. 1, 2, 3. So you have to write 3 times 700. Next is 725. Fine. So x values we have. Next, what we have to write? You just write the formula. Coefficient of skewness is equal to, what is the formula? Just I have done now. It is given by x bar minus z divided by sigma, where x bar is mean value. So I'll just calculate here. X bar is given by sigma x divided by n, where n is number of data. You just count the number of data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So n value is 10. Now mean value will be sigma x, in the sense you have to add all these values. Use calculator, add all these values. You will get 6645. Fine. So 6645 divided by 10. So required mean value will be 664.5. Fine. So I have obtained the mean value. Next, what we have to calculate is mode value. As I already told you, mode is none other than, it is the highest repeated value. So here you can note that 650 is repeating, right? It is repeating 2 times, whereas 700 is repeating 3 times. So which is the more repeating term? It is 700. Therefore required mode is 700. I'll just write here, since 700 is repeating more number of times. 700 is repeating more number of times compared to other values. Therefore, mode is equal to 700. Fine. Next thing, we have to calculate sigma. Sigma is none other than standard deviation. So you just use the formula of standard deviation. It is given by square root of summation of d square divided by n, where d is given by x minus x bar. So x bar I have already done here. So let me calculate d. D is equal to x minus x bar. So here I have d values and x bar is 664.5. So you have to subtract it. 600 minus 664.5. That will give you minus 64.5. Similarly, when you subtract 620 minus 664.5, that will give you minus 44.5. Next 625 minus this, you will get minus 39.5. 650 minus 664, you will get minus 14.5. 650 minus this value, again the same value, so it is minus 14.5. 675 minus 664.5, you will get 10.5. 700 minus this value, so you will get 35.5. 700 again, so for all the three values it will be same, it is 35.5. And the last value is 725. So 725 minus 664.5, that will give you 60.5. Fine. So I have done d values. Next, what is required is d square. So whatever d value you have, you just need to square it. So I'll just show you one. Whenever you have minus, when you square, you will get positive only. So 64.5 whole cap 2. It will give you 4160.25. Similarly, 44.5 whole cap 2. That will give you 1980.25. Fine. Similarly, 39.5 whole square, 1560.25. 14.5 whole square, it is 210.25. Again 14.5, it is 210.25. So 10.5 whole square is 110.25. Next, 35.5 whole square is 1260.25. So 12 same value, so I am writing the same, 1260.25. Now 60.5 whole square, right? 60.5 whole square will give you 3660.25. So I have calculated, 60.5 whole square. Fine. Now we have to calculate sigma d square. So in the sense, I have to add all these values. So use the calculator, add all the values in d square column. So when you add, you will get 1441.2.25. So this will be the sigma d square value. Now let me calculate the standard deviation. Sigma d square is 1441.2.25 divided by n is number of data, it is 10. So if you simplify, you will get sigma value, that is standard deviation, as 37.6934. Fine. Now we can calculate coefficient, that is Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness. It is given by SKP is equal to x bar is 664.5 minus z is 700 divided by standard deviation is 37.9634. Fine. Now let me simplify. 664.5 minus 700 divided by 37.9634. That will give you minus 0.9351. So anyhow it is negative. Why? Because you can clearly note that mean value is 664 whereas mode value is 700. So as I already told you, when mode is highest, skewness will be negative. Fine. And moreover it will be in between -1 and +1. So hope so it is clear. Now let me solve one more problem of same kind, that is ungrouped data. So here is the problem. Again it is ungrouped data. Why? Because only x values are given. So as I said earlier, we have to calculate coefficient of skewness. For this, first we have to arrange the given data in an order. So let me arrange the given data. First minimum value is 70. Next is 76. Next 80. Next 85. Repeated how many times? 1, 2, 3 times. So 85 3 times. Fine. Next is 95. Next 96. Next 100, 108. Now let me count the data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So n value is 10. As usual, once you write this, you have to write the formula. It is given by coefficient. Remember, it is Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness. Right? X bar minus z divided by sigma, where x bar is given by summation of x divided by n. Summation of x in the sense you have to add all these values. So use the calculator, you will get 880. Fine. And n is 10. So let me calculate mean. 880 divided by 10. So x bar value will be 88. Now as usual, we have to calculate mode. Right? Mode in the sense z. So you can clearly note that here the only repeating term is 85. It is repeating 3 times. So z will be 85 because you have to write the same statement, because it is repeating more number of times compared to other values. So it is repeating more number of times. Next we have to calculate standard deviation. Formula is sigma d square by n. So how can we calculate d? By using the formula x minus x bar. Anyhow, x bar I have already calculated. So x bar is 88. Now let me calculate d. D is given by x minus x bar. X bar is 88. So let me subtract 70 minus 88. It is minus 18. 76 minus 88 minus 12. Next 80 minus 88 is minus 8. 85 minus 88 is minus 3. So rest of the three values will be same. Next 95 minus 88 is 7. 96 minus 88 is 8. 100 minus 88 is 12. 108 minus 88 is 20. So I have calculated d value. Fine. Next what we read is d square. So you have to square the value. Minus 18 whole square is 324. Minus 12 whole square 144. Minus 8 whole square 64. Minus 3 square 9. Again it is also 9. Next 7 square is 49. 8 square is 64. 12 square is 144. 20 square is 400. So I have calculated d square value. Now what we required is sigma d square. In the sense you have to add all the values in d square column. Use calculator and add all these values. You will get 1216. Now let me calculate standard deviation. It is square root of 1216 divided by n value is 10. So if you simplify, you will get to square root of 121.6. So sigma is equal to, that is standard deviation is 11.0272. So once you obtained all these value, you can calculate coefficient of skewness. It is given by x bar is 88 minus z is 85 divided by sigma is 11.0272. 75 it is. Use calculator, you will get this. So if you simplify, you will get coefficient of skewness as 88 minus 85 is 3 divided by 11.0275 is 0.2720. So this is the required coefficient of skewness, or Carl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness. And here you have obtained positive skewness. Why? Because you can note that here the mean is 88 whereas mode is 85. So among these two, mean is highest value, right? So whenever you have highest mean value, you will get positive skewness. I have written it in the note clearly. So mean is greater than mode. That is, if you have mean value highest, you will get positive. If you have mode value highest, you will get negative. So that is what the skewness is. So you have obtained positive value as mean value is highest compared to mode value. So I hope you understand this concept. So for continuous and for group data, that is discrete and continuous series, let me continue in the next session. Before that, here I have a homework problem. It is also ungrouped data. Why? Because only x values are given. So you just simplify by using the same method. You will get answer, that is coefficient of skewness, Carl-Pearson coefficient of skewness, SKP is equal to minus 0.0362. Please pause the video and copy this problem in the notes. You just solve in notes. So hope so you will do this. Thank you. Continue in the next session.